this episode, we are going to discuss about distance education or distance degree, whether it is valid. Welcoming all viewers and subscribers to a new episode of the Educator Daily Show. So friends, most of the time you might have heard about distance education. So we are going to understand what is distance education and what exactly is a degree earned through distance education. When we are trying to understand something new, obviously we will take help of something which is already there or something which we already know. So we can compare distance degree with online degrees as with regular degrees. When we compare these three, we can easily understand what is distance education or the certificate what we earn through distance education mode. So friends, regular education is format of education where you are appearing in classes. Regular classes will be there and your attendance is must. You have to attend those theory as well as practical classes. Minimum attendance has to be reported, then only you will be eligible to write examinations. And also there will be a constant interaction between the teacher and the student. That kind of ambience or culture or kind of setup is already existing in a regular education mode. And when we are taking the other side of the spectrum, which is online degree, rarely the student appear in any format or formal physical classes. In place they are appearing from laptop or desktop or any tab or devices, and they are taking the classes. Most of the time or all the time they never gather in physical classroom. Instead, they are remotely accessing the classes. And even the examination also will be online and you can write the exam in designated locations. In all these cases, even assignment, project, whatever submission goes, all will be through online mode only. So here comes the distance education, which will take part of a regular education mode and part of the online education mode. And obviously before online education, it was distance education, also known as correspondence education, which allowed students to earn their degrees without even attending classes. Even if there are classes, those are called as contact classes. So in place of 3, 4, 5, 6 months of classes, the student has to just take maybe 10 or 15 theory classes or maybe 3, 4 lab classes. In this way, the physical assembling of students in a room or the way student has to be in the classroom is largely avoided. Most of the students who are not in a position to appear in a classroom, or some of the students already have some kind of work, or they are housewives, or they are in some position where they cannot do a regular mode of education, will be largely benefited through distance education mode. And also another difference what makes distance education different from online mode of education is in online mode of education, the student never appear in any physical classroom or gathering with other students. But in distance education mode, as already mentioned before, contact classes are there. Theory classes, most of the time it will be optional. If you want, you can attend. If you don't want, you can just skip. But lab classes you have to attend, it is a must. If you are marked absent, then you cannot appear for the examination. This way online education mode and distance education mode is different. But when we are comparing distance education mode with a regular education mode, largely kind of classrooms or the physical appearance or regular interaction of the teacher student almost removed from scope only. So this way we are understanding what is distance education. Now the next question comes, how to identify the distance education degree what you are holding valid or not. Because most of the students are getting into the trap of agents or education brokers sold to certain fake certificates or some university existing, but the mode of certification or the kind of education they are getting or how they are getting the certificates will be largely spooky or will be having some fake footprints. That way the students will be holding some certificate which will be of no use and no value other than a piece of paper. So here we are going to understand 5 basic steps which you can use to understand whether the university or the kind of course you are going to or you are planning to get is valid or not. So the first one is checking in the Google, which is the easiest step. If you have a mobile device, internet connectivity, you can just Google Distance Education Bureau, DEB, and one space and UGC, University Grant Commission. So you type DEB space UGC, then you can get into the UGC's website to the portal of Distance Education Bureau, which is uniting the entire effort of distance education in our India. Prior to 2012, it was Indira Gandhi National Open University IGNOU through DEC, but after 2012, it is under control of UGC through Distance Education Bureau. So in this portal, you can find different links where regularly UGC's DEB is updating list of universities NAC accredited allowed to offer the distance education along with allowed and approved courses. So this way you are going to understand which university is approved for which all the courses and for which year period. So prior to 2018, it was entirely different story, but after 2018, NAC accreditation is must, which will be known to most of you. After that, you will be checking your university, also the course, plus you have to check the center, meaning the center where you are going to register your distance education degree, whether that is approved by UGC. So this information will not be there in the portal. This information you have to get from center where you are going to register. Ask them to show a letter or kind of MOU or whatever, which is designating that particular center is approved by UGC to provide distance education course for that university against that particular education course. Third point is understanding the difference between state university and central university and jurisdiction where these universities can offer their courses. Of course, central universities like Indira Gandhi National Open University, JNU, Aligarh Muslim University, Jamia Millia University, Banaras Hindu University, all these universities can give their distance education mode in any state of India, unlike state universities. State universities like Annamalai University, Bharatiyar University, Madurai Kamaraj University, Kerala University, Jaipur University, all these universities can give their distance education in their states only. If they are giving their education certificates outside their state through any institution, that is strictly against UGC rule. Many circulars also available in UGC website, which you can refer if you want to. And if you want this information, I can also share. Now the fourth point is actually a continuation of third point. That is, if you are going to do a distance education degree from a state university and if you want to bring to your own state. For example, you have done your distance education from Madurai Kamaraj University, which is a state university in Tamil Nadu. And you are staying or you are a resident of Maharashtra. And if you want to take your degree back home to your Maharashtra, and if you want to continue your higher education or regular education, then you have to take equivalency certificate from any of the UGC approved universities in Maharashtra. And you have to check with these universities whether they are ready to give equivalency certificate, because this makes huge difference in validating distance education mode which you had already gained from Tamil Nadu. That is just an example. So that way you have to check if you are doing a distance education in another state, and if you want to bring that certificate in your state, then you have to check whether equivalency certificate can be obtained. Now the fifth and the last point is about the overseas centers. That is, all these state universities, they are having kind of overseas centers also. For example, if you are going to Al Ain or Abu Dhabi or Dubai, you can find Bharatiyar University giving their MBA courses, Jaipur University giving their MSc courses. Whether they are valid? Of course not. State universities cannot go beyond their state boundaries. Forget about going beyond country. But universities like Indira Gandhi National Open University, they can operate under their name under overseas laws. So these universities can operate their global centers and provide education through distance mode. And you can reap benefit through this kind of education, and the value of the certificate will never be disputed. So friends, these are some of the things which you should know about distance education, and also regarding the validity of education which you are gaining through distance education mode. Obviously, if you have any question, please feel free to put in the comment box. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.